So my last video, I just said how I ran into a nurse this week. I didn't know her. And she had been at work 21 hours because there was no staff to relieve her. First of all, I think that violates labor laws, doesn't it? But then when CEOs are never held accountable and they never go to jail for keeping their hospitals unsafe, because they should be held to accountability for staffing. And believe me, I'm going to keep saying it. The unions were brought in to protect the CEOs. Yeah, I know they say no, they go after them because of how much they make. Well, it's all the stuff the union doesn't tell you, because they're not telling you what's going on at the UN that the hospital CEO and them have gotten on board with. But believe what you want if you're in one of those unions. So I'm saying this, though, because I'm working at this place, okay? And this is the worst I've ever seen. I haven't even been on the unit yet. I mean, I've been there, but not like for a full day. I don't trust it at all, so I'm going to make sure to post this, because you never know what can happen. I mean, I work in psych. And this was a new facility a couple years ago, and right off the bat, there was a nurse that got beat up. Not just hit, but beat up. Because if you don't give enough staff, and yet you just bring in patient after patient after patient while the hospital CEO expands but won't allow more staff, then what do you think will happen? People will get hurt. And because we don't have a justice system, we don't have a court system, we don't have anybody that will arrest these CEOs, and because they're, in all honesty, as a psych nurse, they're a danger. They are a danger to others. It's that simple. There's two reasons you can involuntarily commit somebody, at least long enough to do an evaluation. It depends on the state. It's if they're a harm to themselves or others. What the CEOs are doing, they're all moving more in this direction. For years now, and everybody knows this. If you ask them, they'll be like, yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Like how often the CEOs move in and out. It's like 3 to 5 years, and then a new one comes in with a new plan. So then nobody's held accountable. You see how the game's played? Because the CEO that was there prior, like, that put in blacklisted cameras the week of lockdowns at Northwestern, well, he's gone now. They have a new CEO, so that nobody's ever held accountable. Not that anybody was in that case, because DOJ doesn't want to arrest and put in jail dangerous people if they're CEOs. But their behavior is a danger to the community. Yes, it is. I'm not exaggerating there. When you have enough money to expand your facility or expand into other states, but you won't staff appropriately for patients and staff to be safe, or for nurses to be able to go home at the end of their shift, then you're a danger. You are, and they show they're a danger. Because again, I said 2006, this one healthcare system, and that's just one. That's a big, big one, just in sight pretty much. But from 2006 to 2018, abuse, kids being molested, other kids beating them up. I mean, the most horrid stories I've read. And all could have been prevented if there were staff. In fact, that's one of the complaints against them. Yet now they're even doing worse than that, because they're never held accountable. So why should they change what they're doing? So that's the reason I'm putting this out there, because because I've been in orientation, and this seems like it's one thing to not have a nurse show up, but I don't even know if they're staffing. Like because it's mostly new nurses, so they may just think this is how it is. Like this nurse that had been there 21 hours, because you can't leave. I mean, if you did, it would be unkind, really, because you have patients. But it's also, it violates labor laws, but more than that, it's unsafe. So the people that won't keep the place safe, that are at the very top because they won't staff. They are a danger to the community. And I'm going to show you how much, because there was a nurse in 2017 that wrote a strong letter regarding this. In October 2020, a registered nurse, I thought it was 2017, a registered nurse who had worked at Cumberland called for this facility to be shut down after she said she witnessed child abuse. Quote, "My soul will not allow me to continue employment within a facility where children are knowingly abused without appropriate action being taken," read the resignation. Hospital CEOs, under no circumstance is abuse against a patient, much less a special needs child, appropriate in any fashion. The nurse resigned about 5 months after, I guess it was on the news, CBS 6 investigation revealed the hospital had been at the center of a criminal investigation of allegations of abuse and neglect since 2017. They also go back to 2006 to 2000. So there's nothing but abuse. This is the same facility that I'm at, and it seems that it's getting worse. And I don't expect the federal government to do anything, because as this nurse said, she's right. They should have been a facility that was shut down. But because we don't have morally guided people in anywhere in government, first of all, or the three-letter agencies, all these institutions that are about justice and that don't want to keep people safe, this continues. And it's gotten worse because it's not like they've changed what they're doing. This is a place that is building, that is they're planning to expand. They don't even have enough staff for the people they do have, but they don't care. And I've never run into this, and I could be wrong. I just have a feeling that with new nurses, CEOs tend to take advantage of them because they don't know how it really operates. So as a nurse, you can't just leave a bunch of patients. But was anybody scheduled to come in? Because even the manager should have relieved her but didn't. So it's very simple. Nurses can't just leave. That's total abuse. It's abuse to everyone, and it's poor quality of care. Yet this same health system is expanding and building all of these standalone psych facilities. It's dangerous. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm just putting this out there because I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. I have. I've worked enough places where I mean, DCFS alone was my intro to psych. So that definitely prepared me for everything. However, it didn't prepare me for how criminal, morally bankrupt, and heartless the CEOs of these hospitals would be. And unfortunately, it's far too many. This was 2016. Hospital CEOs behaving badly and the devastating consequences on the middle class. That's the least of it. There should be accountability every time and I mean criminal accountability, like jail time, when they do not keep their facilities safe. Because we've had a justice system that doesn't do anything and doesn't hold them accountable, there's been more people hurt, more people abused, staff and patients, and less safety as time goes on. It needs to change. Enough people have been hurt.